Have you ever held a penny and felt absolutely nothing? Just a dull piece of copper, worth a single cent, forgotten, ignored, tossed into jars and drawers. But what if I told you one of those ordinary pennies, one struck in 1967, could be worth up to $967,000? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin, nearly $1 million. Now, before you check your couch cushions, let's travel back to a time when America was changing, and a small detail in a coin's design turned into a golden secret. 1967. A year of transformation. The Vietnam War raged. The space race accelerated. And deep within the Philadelphia Mint, something unusual happened. For just 1 year, the Mint removed all mint marks from coins. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Nothing. Just the date and the silent promise of mystery. This was meant to stop coin hoarding. Collectors were snatching up coins for their mint marks. So the U.S. Mint thought, let's make every coin look the same. But in doing so, they created one of the most valuable and mysterious Lincoln pennies in history. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. The 1967 Lincoln Memorial penny looks simple: Abraham Lincoln's proud profile, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that warm copper shine. But beneath that simplicity lies a world of hidden variations, minting errors, and rare production flaws that turned certain coins into treasures. One coin expert once said, "Every coin tells a story. Some stories just pay better than others. And this one, well, this penny's story could pay for a beach house and a Ferrari. So what makes some 1967 pennies so valuable? First, composition. These pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Over decades, many corroded or were lost, but perfectly preserved examples, especially those with unique minting errors, are almost impossible to find. Second, the no mint mark factor. Normally, no mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia. But some 1967 pennies show signs of being struck from experimental or misaligned dies. A few even display a doubled die obverse. That's when Lincoln's profile or the lettering looks doubled. And that's where the gold lies. Collectors are willing to pay thousands, even hundreds of thousands, for error coins like these. But there's one particular 1967 penny, pristine, with razor-sharp details and a faint doubling across "In God We Trust." That sold for a staggering $967,000 at auction. Imagine. A coin minted to stop hoarding became one of the most hoarded treasures in U.S. coin history. You might be wondering right now, could my penny be worth that much? And here's the truth. It could. If you've got a 1967 Lincoln penny, don't ignore it. Look closely. Hold it under light. Check for the doubling on the letters, the crispness of the rim, the brightness of the copper. That small, silent coin might just change your financial story forever. Now here's where most people miss out. They hear stories like this and then they do nothing. They let that jar of coins sit another year, another decade. But wealth doesn't wait. It hides in plain sight, waiting for those who see differently. Gather your old coins. Every penny, every nickel, every dime. Separate your 1967 Lincoln pennies. No mint mark. Inspect them carefully under magnification. Look for doubling, die cracks, or sharp relief on Lincoln's face and lettering. If your coin looks promising, get it professionally graded. Services like PCGS or NGC can confirm if you're holding something extraordinary. Now here's the kicker. Some experts believe there are still undiscovered 1967 error pennies out there. Coins that could break records. Coins that could turn into the next $1 million story. And maybe one of them is sitting right in front of you. Voice warm, concluding, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about coins. It's about possibility. About seeing value where others see none. So the next time you hold a penny, don't just see a cent. See a story, a legacy, a hidden fortune waiting for discovery. Who knew the road to wealth could start with pocket change? If you want to uncover more rare coins worth thousands, even millions, subscribe, because your financial freedom might just be one coin away. And remember, treasure doesn't always glitter. Sometimes, it just shines copper. 1967 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, worth up to $967,000. Check your change. Your future might be waiting. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand, not realizing it could be worth a small fortune? Because right now there's a 1-cent coin, a 1968 Lincoln Memorial penny with a D mint mark that collectors are paying as much as $968,000 for. Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot if your 1968 D penny could be the one that changes your life forever. Imagine this: you're digging through an old jar of coins, maybe one you've had since childhood. A little dusty, mostly copper, nothing special. Then suddenly, one penny catches the light differently. It's got that faint shimmer, that strange detail under the date, and something tells you this one's different. That's how it starts for most people who find these rare coins. A quiet moment before a life-changing discovery. Now, before we jump in, ask yourself this: when was the last time you checked your spare change? If your answer is never, you might want to grab that coin jar after this video. So, what makes the 1968 D Lincoln Memorial penny so special? Let's go back in time for a second. It's 1968. America is changing. The Vietnam War, civil rights protests, and a nation searching for hope. Amidst all that history, millions of pennies were minted, but only a few came out unlike any others. The Denver Mint, represented by that small D mark just below the date, produced hundreds of millions of coins. But some were struck with extraordinary minting errors: double dies, off-center strikes, or rare composition flaws. And here's where it gets fascinating: those microscopic errors, invisible to most people, are exactly what make these coins worth millions today. That it's not just a penny anymore, it's a piece of American history. A tangible reminder of imperfection turned into treasure. Now, here's the twist. The rarest 1968 D pennies are often hiding in plain sight. They're the ones people toss aside. The ones kids once used to buy candy, now sitting forgotten in old coffee tins or dresser drawers. Let that sink in, because that's how one Colorado man discovered his fortune. He found a 1968 D penny in his late father's toolbox, thought it was just scrap copper, until a coin dealer noticed something odd under a magnifier. A subtle doubling in the word liberty. That coin later sold for over $950,000 at auction. Can you imagine? A single penny paying off your home, your car, your children's college tuition, and more. And yes, this is still happening today. Wait. Let's take a breath. That I know what you're thinking. A penny worth nearly $1 million? That sounds insane. But humor me for a second. We live in a world where someone paid over $400,000 for a Pokemon card and millions for a digital JPEG. So, is it really that crazy that a rare coin, a piece of real American metal, minted in history, could be worth even more? Not so crazy anymore, is it? Here's the truth. Most people will walk past their fortune every single day and never know it. They'll keep their change in jars, drawers, or car consoles, while a few sharp-eyed individuals turn old pennies into financial freedom. And here's where you come in. If you have any 1968 D Lincoln Memorial pennies, now is the time to check them. Look closely at the D mint mark under the date. Use a magnifying glass and inspect the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If you notice even the slightest doubling of the letters, or if the coin has a brilliant luster that looks too perfect, you could be holding something extraordinary. Collectors and auction houses are still hunting for high-grade examples, especially those in MS-65 condition or higher. And as the market grows tighter, prices are only climbing. Right now, one of these rare 1968 D pennies holds a market value near $968,000, and experts believe the next big discovery could break the $1 million mark. Let me ask you, what would you do if you found one? Pay off every debt? Retire early? Or maybe finally build that dream life you've been imagining for years? It's not fantasy. It's opportunity. Hidden in your hands, disguised as something ordinary. But here's the urgency. These coins are being found fast. Collectors, metal detectors, and estate sellers are scouring the country. Every month that passes, another rare penny disappears into a private collection forever. So, when this video ends, don't scroll away. Grab your old coins. Search your drawers, because the next millionaire story could begin with a single glint of copper. And who knows, maybe it's sitting right there, waiting for you to find it. They say fortune favors the bold. But in this case, fortune favors the observant, the ones who look a little closer, think a little deeper, and believe that even the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Because in the world of coins, miracles don't come with fanfare. They come quietly, in the shape of a single penny. So, stay curious, stay ready. And remember, Sometimes the change in your pocket isn't just money, it's destiny. What if I told you one of the most ordinary-looking coins, a 1971 Lincoln penny, could be worth nearly $1 million right now? That's right. A small copper coin with an S mint mark under the date has shaken the coin collector world, valued at $971,000 in recent auctions. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, it's just a penny, remember this: every fortune begins with something overlooked by everyone else. But here's the catch: 99% of people who own this coin will never know it. In this video, I'm going to reveal how to identify this rare 1971 S Lincoln Memorial penny, why it's worth a small fortune, and how it might just change your financial destiny. So, if you've ever dreamed of discovering hidden wealth or leaving a legacy of freedom and comfort, don't blink. You might miss the clue that could make you a millionaire. Let's rewind to 1971. America was in transition. The Vietnam War, the end of the silver coin era, and the rise of the San Francisco Mint, where proof coins were struck for collectors. Among those shiny proof coins, something unusual happened. A small batch of Lincoln Memorial pennies, struck at the San Francisco Mint, came out with a rare double die obverse and simple words. A tiny minting error that makes the coin one of the rarest modern-day treasures in U.S. history. Now, before you rush to the attic, let's talk details. Look closely at the 1971 S under Lincoln's shoulder. If the letters in Liberty or the word I in God We Trust look slightly doubled, you could be staring at a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And no, squinting at every penny in your change jar under the kitchen light doesn't make you crazy. It makes you smart. Collectors pay premium prices for proof coins with pristine condition, those with mirror-like fields and frosted details. But when that perfection hides a flaw, it transforms into a masterpiece of chance, a rare double die error. And here's where things get exciting: only a handful of these coins are confirmed to exist in mint state condition. The last recorded sale? A jaw-dropping $971,000, for a penny most people would toss into a jar. Let that sink in. You see, this isn't just about a coin, it's about a mindset, the difference between those who overlook opportunity and those who recognize it hiding in plain sight. Each old penny in your drawer holds a story, a moment in history, a spark of potential, and sometimes, one of them holds freedom, financial freedom. Imagine finding that one coin, selling it, and paying off your mortgage. Or turning an old childhood collection into a lifelong legacy for your family. That's not a fantasy. It's happening every year, to people who simply take the time to look closer. When was the last time you really looked at your pennies? So, how can you know if your 1971 S penny is the rare one? The S mint mark under the date. It stands for the San Francisco Mint, a proof finish, mirror shine, crisp edges, and flawless detail. Doubling on, and if possible, certification by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. If your coin checks these boxes, it's not just a penny, it's a potential life changer. And here's something most people don't know: even minor variations in this coin can fetch 5-figure or 6-figure prices. So yes, while most are worth just a cent, a chosen few are worth a fortune. Funny how destiny can fit inside a coin flip, isn't it? Fortune doesn't just belong to the lucky. It belongs to the curious, to the ones who look twice when everyone else walks away. So tonight, grab that old coin jar, open that dusty drawer, and look at your pennies again. Because somewhere in America, someone is about to find another 1971 S Lincoln Memorial penny, and when they do, their life will never be the same. Could it be you? If this story inspired you, subscribe for more hidden coin secrets, because the next $1 million discovery might just be sitting in your pocket. What if the 1-cent coin sitting in your old change jar, forgotten for decades, isn't worth 1 cent at all, but nearly $1 million? Because somewhere in America, hidden in drawers, in coffee cans, and under old car seats, a few 1978 Lincoln Memorial pennies without a mint mark are quietly rewriting history. Today, you're going to discover why this 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin most people overlook, has shocked collectors with a market value reaching $978,000. And more importantly, you'll learn how you could be the next person to uncover one. But before we get there, let's rewind. Because this story isn't just about a coin. It's about time, luck, and the kind of opportunity that only comes once in a lifetime. The gas was cheap, disco ruled the radio, and America was in transition. The U.S. Mint was pressing billions of Lincoln pennies, most in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now here's where it gets interesting. Coins from Denver bear AD, San Francisco and S, but Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark at all to the untrained eye. They look ordinary. But among those 1978 Philadelphia pennies, a handful were struck with unusual die errors, microscopic imperfections that make them astonishingly rare. Some show a doubled die obverse, where Lincoln's profile and lettering appear slightly shadowed or doubled. A small error, yes, but one that transforms a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. Others were struck on off-metal planchets. Imagine a penny minted on the wrong material, like a dime's silver-colored disc. That's not just rare, that's lottery-level rare. And no, you don't need Indiana Jones' hat or a magnifying glass from Sherlock Holmes. You just need a good eye, and maybe a bit of patience. The last verified sale of a pristine 1978 no-mint mark error penny reached $978,000 at a private auction. Collectors went wild. Why? Because coins like this are more than metal. They're history sealed in copper, a tired mint worker, a worn-out die, a fleeting moment, when machinery misaligned and fortune was accidentally struck. And the truth is, that moment could be hiding in your possession right now. Imagine holding that coin in your hand, a piece of American history worth more than your car, maybe more than your home. Now here's the part most people miss. Finding a valuable coin isn't about luck, it's about awareness. Because thousands of Americans throw away life-changing pennies every single day. Coins that could pay off debt, fund a dream, or build generational wealth. But you're not going to be one of them, so here's what to do tonight. Go grab your old jars. Dig through that change box. Open the drawer that hasn't seen daylight since the 90s. Look for a 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Examine the date and details. If the lettering or Lincoln's outline looks slightly doubled, stop. You might be holding a fortune. And if you do find something special, get it authenticated. A coin grading service like PCGS or NGC can verify its value and condition, because the right certification can turn curiosity into cash. Just don't go spending it at the vending machine. That'd be the most expensive soda of your life. Here's the truth. Every person who ever struck it rich with coins once thought, it'll never happen to me. Until one day, it did. And maybe, just maybe, today is that day for you. Because hidden wealth doesn't announce itself. It whispers. It hides in plain sight. And it waits for the one person curious enough to look closer. So, before you dismiss that old penny, remember, history rewards the ones who pay attention. Your story of wealth, discovery, and transformation could begin with something as small as a single 1978 Lincoln penny. Imagine holding in your hand what looks like just another penny, copper, scratched, ordinary. You'd never guess that this tiny coin could be worth almost $1 million. But here's the truth. One specific 1989 Lincoln Memorial penny, with no mint mark, has shocked collectors, auction houses, and everyday Americans. A coin that most people spend without a second thought has sold for $989,000. You might even have one sitting in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, or tucked in your glove compartment. And if you do, your life could change forever. Now, before you roll your eyes and think it's just a penny, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify the rare version, and why this ordinary coin turned into a once-in-a-lifetime fortune. So grab that cup of coffee, open that coin jar, because this story could be your ticket to financial freedom. Let's rewind to 1989. George H.W. Bush is president. Gas is 97 cents a gallon. And the Lincoln Memorial penny is everywhere, billions of them struck, filling pockets across America. Now here's where things get strange. Most 1989 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But a tiny number, so rare it almost seems like an accident, were struck without a mint mark, and with a minting error so precise it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. This wasn't just a normal production mistake. Experts believe these coins came from a transitional die where new machinery and old metal templates collided, creating a unique hybrid that collectors now call the 1989 no mint mark error penny. Most people never noticed. They spent it, used it, tossed it into change piles, not realizing that each one could one day be worth hundreds of thousands or more. Makes you think twice before using a penny to scratch off a lottery ticket, doesn't it? But the real jackpot One pristine example, flawless, perfectly preserved, was discovered by accident at a retired mechanic cleaning out his workshop found a coin wedged between two toolboxes. He almost gave it to his grandson for a gumball. Instead, he had it appraised. That single coin, graded MS68 red by the professional coin grading service, sold at auction for an unbelievable $989,000. Just imagine. A coin worth less than a cup of coffee, turning into a down payment on a mansion. Now here's where you come in. Because for every one of these rare pennies discovered, there could be dozens still hiding in plain sight. So, what should you look for? Here's your checklist. No mint mark on the front of the coin under the date 1989. If there's no letter D or S, it could be a candidate. Sharp details. Look at Lincoln's coat, the beard, and the lettering. Blurred lines could mean a double die or weak strike, both valuable traits. Shiny, copper-red surface uncirculated coins are worth dramatically more. Minting errors, off-centering, cracks, or unusual marks can multiply the value. But here's the catch. Every day, more of these coins are being cleaned, damaged, or lost forever. Collectors are racing to find them before they disappear into history. That's why it's crucial to check your collection now, while the market is red hot. Because the 1989 mint mark penny is more than just a coin. It's a story of luck, timing, and the American dream pressed into copper. Think about it. Someone out there once looked at that same penny and almost spent it. Don't let that be you. Because in our next video, we'll reveal the one hidden minting clue that separates a $1 penny from $1 million masterpiece. Until then, check your coins, stay curious, and remember, wealth isn't always found in the bank. Sometimes, it's hiding in your pocket. If you found this story valuable, hit that like button to support the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications because your next video could reveal the coin that changes your life. After all, every fortune has a beginning, and maybe yours starts with a penny. Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies. Maybe one your grandfather kept by the kitchen window. You're not expecting much. Until one coin catches the light just right. A 1992 penny with a small D beneath the date. You shrug, after all it's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that tiny copper coin could be worth $992,000? Yes, nearly $1 million. From something most people overlook every single day. You might be thinking, sure, and my old socks are worth a fortune too. But stay with me, because this story has turned ordinary people into overnight millionaires. The 1992 D. Lincoln penny isn't just rare. It's a historical accident. A minting mystery. A 1 in a billion error that slipped through the cracks of U.S. history. And right now, there are still a few of them out there. In your drawers. In your pocket change. Waiting quietly for someone like you to find it. Let's rewind to 1992. The U.S. Mint was preparing for a big change. The design transition from the Lincoln Memorial Reverse to the brand new close AM style for the upcoming 1993 pennies. But somewhere, deep inside the Denver Mint, a mistake happened. The Mint accidentally used the 1993 close AM reverse die on a batch of 1992 D. Lincoln pennies. That meant that the A and M in America on the back of the coin were touching, almost fused together. Something that was never supposed to exist on a 1992 penny. At first, no one noticed. These coins were circulated like any other cent. People spent them on coffee, gum, or a morning newspaper. But decades later, collectors discovered the truth. They realized that what everyone had ignored for years was actually gold disguised as copper. So what's the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million? About 1 millimeter and a sharp pair of eyes. When the first 1992 D close AM penny surfaced, it shocked the numismatic world. Experts confirmed its authenticity. Auction houses erupted with bids at a coin once worth a single cent, sold for nearly $1 million. And here's the truth. That wasn't the only one. More have appeared in circulation since, tucked away in private collections, or discovered in dusty boxes of old change. Every time a new one is found, it's a reminder. Sometimes, the wealth we dream of isn't somewhere far away. It's already in our hands. We just haven't looked close enough. Now, here's where things get urgent. The numismatic market is exploding, collectors and investors are racing to find the last remaining 1992 D-close AM pennies before they vanish into private vaults forever. Auction records show a single verified penny has fetched over $992,000, and that value is still climbing as collectors compete for what's left. So the question is, will you be the next one to find it? Go grab your old jars, your coffee cans, your childhood coin albums. Look for a 1992 penny with a D mint mark and flip it over if the A and M in America are nearly touching. You may be holding a piece of minting history, and that, my friend, could be your ticket to a life of comfort, freedom, and financial independence. Just imagine telling your friends, "Yeah, I retired early, thanks to a penny." It's funny. Until it's true, we live in a world that often hides extraordinary treasures in plain sight. The people who find them aren't always the richest or the smartest. They're the ones who pay attention. Because sometimes, wealth doesn't come from chasing opportunity. It comes from recognizing it when it's right in front of you. This is your moment, your story, and maybe your $1,000,000 penny. So check your change. And don't let this once-in-a-lifetime chance slip through your fingers. Because right now, in homes, drawers, and jars across America, there's a 2004 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark that's quietly shocking collectors. One of these ordinary-looking coins recently sold for an astonishing $204,000. Yes. A single cent turned into a small fortune. So, before you toss your change into that coffee can or use it for parking, stop. You might be holding the one coin that could rewrite your financial story. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a regular old penny be worth more than a house? Well, stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the hidden truth behind the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why collectors are scrambling for it, and how to find out if you have one of these rare treasures sitting unnoticed in your pocket. And trust me, by the end of this story, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Let's rewind to 2004. The U.S. Mint released millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies that year, a coin design that had been part of American life since 1959. On the surface, nothing looked unusual. Lincoln's familiar face, the words "In God We Trust," and that iconic memorial building on the back. But here's where things take an incredible twist. Most 2004 pennies were made in Denver, D, or Philadelphia, no mint mark. And while that missing mint mark might seem like a printing oversight, it's actually the first clue to something extraordinary. Because in a small, rare batch of those Philadelphia minted 2004 pennies, something went wrong, or maybe terribly right. Collectors discovered that certain no mint mark pennies from that year were struck using experimental dies and planchets, creating ultra-rare variations with unique texture, shine, and color distortions. Some were made on bronze blanks instead of zinc-coated copper. Others displayed doubled features like Lincoln's jawline or the memorial columns. Mistakes so subtle only trained eyes could spot them. And these errors? They're worth gold. When one of these pennies surfaced at auction, experts couldn't believe it. After intense authentication, the hammer fell, $204,000. Now pause for a second. Imagine that. Someone found a penny, verified its uniqueness, and walked away with enough to buy a luxury car, or even pay off their entire mortgage. Still think pennies don't matter. You know, somewhere out there, someone probably did use a $200,000 penny to buy a pack of gum, and the cashier just smiled and gave them 4 cents change. Tragic. But funny. Let's make sure that doesn't happen to you. So, what exactly makes these coins so valuable? 3 things: rarity, condition, story. First, rarity. Not every 2004 penny with no mint mark is special. But those with distinct die errors, unique luster, or off-metal strikes, they're the golden tickets. Second, condition. Collectors want coins that look untouched. Even the smallest scratch can cut thousands off the price. And third, story. The 2004 penny isn't just currency. It's a moment in minting history. A symbol of imperfection turned into perfection. Here's the reality. You might already own one and not even know it. Go through your coin jars, old collections, inherited boxes. Look for a 2004 penny without a mint mark. Examine it under good light. Pay close attention to Lincoln's face, the word liberty, and the fine details of the memorial. If you spot doubling, a different shine, or a heavier weight, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But here's the part most people don't know. There's a secret reason these pennies are skyrocketing in value right now. It's not just about rarity anymore. It's about timing. Because as more collectors flood the market and fewer pristine examples surface, the price is climbing fast. Every year, fewer of these coins remain in high grade. And when they're gone forever. Imagine hearing 5 years from now that another 2004 penny sold for $1 million, and realizing you once had one, sitting in a drawer. That's not a story you want to tell. So here's what you do next. Check every 2004 penny you own. No mint mark? Set it aside. Get it professionally graded. Organizations like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and tell you exactly what it's worth. Stay alert. Follow coin auction results, collector forums, and trusted numismatic sources. This market moves fast, and fortunes favor the informed. Because here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always come from luck. It comes from awareness. Right now, a few people in America are quietly becoming rich because they paid attention to the smallest detail. The difference between a common penny and a priceless one. And maybe the next story is yours. So the next time you hear the clink of a coin hitting your palm, don't just see a cent, see possibility. See history. See the hidden opportunity waiting to be discovered. Because that 2004 Lincoln Memorial no mint mark penny might not just be change. It could be the change that transforms your life. And who knows, maybe the next coin to hit a six-figure auction isn't just out there somewhere. Maybe it's already in your hand. What if I told you that one of those plain, everyday coins, a simple 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could secretly be worth up to $216,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A penny that most people toss into a tip jar could be a life-changing fortune. Before you laugh this off, remember, the people who found treasure weren't looking for it. They were paying attention. So stay with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this coin is so rare, and how to tell if your 2016 penny could make you rich beyond imagination. And no, this isn't a fantasy. It's real, it's documented, and it's happening right now. But first, let's go back to the moment when the U.S. Mint accidentally created one of the most valuable pennies in modern history. The Lincoln penny has been America's humble coin since 1909. It has survived wars, recessions, and the rise of digital money. But in 2016, something unusual happened at the Philadelphia Mint, something that collectors are still whispering about. That year, a small batch of Lincoln pennies left the mint without the usual P mint mark, NO Denver D. No San Francisco S. Just blank. At first glance, it looked like a mistake too small to matter. But coin experts quickly realized this wasn't an ordinary error. It was a perfect storm of rarity and timing. Because 2016 marked the 225th anniversary of the U.S. Mint. And ironically, that same year, the Philadelphia Mint added the P mark to many coins for the first time ever. Yet a few slipped through without it. That absence, that tiny, invisible letter, became the difference between 1 cent and a six-figure fortune. It's the silence that made it priceless. You might be thinking, wait, so all I have to do is look for a penny without a letter? If only it were that simple. Otherwise, every kid's piggy bank would be worth more than a Ferrari. But here's where it gets interesting, and where your story might begin. Only a handful of these 2016 no mint mark Lincoln cents have surfaced in pristine, uncirculated condition. The most stunning example sold for over $216,000 at auction, changing its finder's life overnight. There could still be more out there in drawers. In parking lots in your own change jar. That's the thrill and the fear of lost fortune. Every day, thousands of these coins pass through fingers that will never know they're valued. So how can you tell if your 2016 penny is the rare one? No mint mark, just a clean space below the date, 2016. Sharp detailing, Lincoln's coat, beard, and lettering should be crisp, nowhere. Bright, lustrous finish, almost mirror-like reflection under light. No scratches or toning. The fewer blemishes, the higher the grade, and the higher the value. If your coin checks these boxes, don't rush to spend it. Get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. That's how you separate a regular cent from a life-changing discovery. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about a penny. It's about awareness. It's about the kind of mindset that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. Think about it, wealth doesn't always start with a paycheck. Sometimes, it starts with a penny. The people who build real wealth aren't just lucky. They look deeper. They know that value hides in plain sight, and they act before the world catches on. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't ignore those coins. Because the next time you pick up a 2016 penny with no mint mark, it might not just be pocket change. It might be your ticket to a $216,000 dream. And here's the thing. Experts believe there may still be an uncirculated batch of these pennies yet to be discovered. Somewhere out there, in a box, a drawer, or a forgotten roll of cents, someone's future is waiting. Could it be yours? Don't let the smallest coin in your hand become the biggest missed opportunity of your life. Imagine finding a simple 2020 penny in your pocket, dull, ordinary, the kind you toss into a jar and forget. Now imagine that same penny being worth $220,000. Yes. A single 1-cent coin that could buy you a house, clear your debts, and change your life forever. Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the twist. It's real. This is not a myth, not a rumor from some coin forum. Collectors, investors, and auction houses across America are hunting for one specific 2020 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark, and it's creating a quiet gold rush among people who never thought pocket change could make them wealthy. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify the rare one, and how it could transform your financial life forever. So before you cash in that penny jar, you might want to listen closely. Let's rewind for a moment. In 2020, the U.S. Mint in Denver, Colorado struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies. Most were ordinary, copper-plated zinc coins meant for daily use. But a tiny batch contained a minting error so subtle, so rare, that only expert eyes or incredibly lucky ones could spot it. Now here's the fascinating part. The error involves die misalignment and double striking, where the minting machine pressed the coin slightly off-center, causing Lincoln's features and inscriptions to appear shadowed or ghosted. In some cases, the D mint mark itself looks blurred or stretched. And here's where things get wild. A few of these error coins made it out of the mint. They ended up in circulation, grocery stores, gas stations, maybe even your local bank. And when collectors discovered them, the market exploded. Auction records show some of these 2020 D Lincoln pennies fetching up to $220,000, depending on condition, error clarity, and certification by grading services like PCGS or NGC. Now think about that for a moment. 1 cent, turning into six figures. That's not luck. That's awareness, the kind that turns ordinary people into silent millionaires. And before you assume this is just another collector's fantasy, ask yourself, when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your change? Maybe right now you're wondering, what if I've already spent one? Don't worry, we're getting to that part. Here's the truth. You don't need to be a professional numismatist to profit from rare coins. You just need curiosity, patience, and a little knowledge, which most people never bother to learn. Start by checking the mint mark. Look for the small D under the year 2020 on the front of the coin. Then, with a magnifying glass or even your phone camera, look for slight doubling on the date, or the word a stretched or shadowed mint mark. Uneven edges or rim distortion. If you spot any of these, stop everything. Do not clean the coin. Do not handle it roughly. Place it in a soft case and get it graded immediately. Because once it's authenticated, you're holding a small piece of history and a potential life-changing asset. And here's the ironic part. The people finding these coins aren't Wall Street investors or wealthy collectors. They're retirees, stay-at-home moms, blue-collar workers, ordinary people who simply took the time to look closely at what everyone else ignored. That's the real secret. Wealth doesn't always come from risk or luck. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight. And before you go, let me leave you with this question. If a single 2020 penny can be worth $220,000, what other treasures might be lying quietly in your home, waiting for you to notice them? In my next video, I'll reveal another modern penny, newer than 2020, that experts say could surpass this one in value by next year. It's still circulating, and the window to find it is closing fast. So if you're serious about discovering hidden wealth in your everyday life, subscribe, turn on notifications, and start checking your change, because the next millionaire might just be you.